Hi, this is Paul from globaltradingsoftware.com, and this is an analysis on the Dow Jones. Now, why am I picking the Dow Jones? I actually played golf with somebody yesterday who's in a product that shorts the Dow, and I was a little bit cautious with him yesterday in that we are in a very, very critical situation as long as the Dow is concerned, and the rest of the indexes. We've got a lot going off in the world with Russia pulling back. We've got the midterms in the US, and then now I'm just going to go through the technicals of the Dow and where we should be careful. So this is the monthly chart, and since 2008 we've been in a really good strong bullish channel here. Framing that chart with that longer term channel is very, very important. Now we can see we've had the pandemic pullback at this point, and then we recovered very well, and then we've had Russia invading Ukraine in 2022, and we've had this corrective pullback right now. But we need to look at that in a little more detail. So I'm going to go to the weekly time frame, and I'm just going to discuss basically some of the things that we should be looking for when we're framing the charts to understand that longer term view, or what should happen for that longer term view. So first of all, I've got a really strong support and resistance zone here where my cursor is. So this was tested in 2017 when we tried to break out of the channel here, and it failed. We came back in to test the center line of the channel. We came back up to test the upper line of the channel and that support and resistance zone again, and it failed, and came back down to test the lower bound of the channel. We come up to test it again, it failed. We again, and eventually it pushed back up and tested the upper bound of the channel here. And then we had the pandemic pullback. This was parabolic. This was a couple of months of real turmoil because nobody knew what was going off. No one's lived through a pandemic like this, and the market sold off. But they didn't really. This was a deep parabolic correction, but it recovered really quickly in real terms, and we came back into this channel. We tested this support and resistance zone here at one stage where my cursor is now. We came back to test the other one as support. We came back up. All of a sudden we were range bound here into the summer of 2020. We were range bound. This is a weekly channel, remember, until we pushed through and out of the channel. And now if I actually engage the ElliottWave indicator suite, and we can see that this big bullish move here was in fact an ElliottWave 3. Now, the strength of that was quite strong because we have the false breakout stochastic down at the bottom here, which is part of the ElliottWave indicator suite, which denotes a really strong sort of bullish trend. And then obviously, a lot of things have happened in the world in 2022, and the main thing that's affected the cost of living, the price of oil, food, everything is to do with the Russia-Ukraine, with Russia invading Ukraine. So since then we've had a pullback. So this pullback has been corrective. Why is it corrective? Because we came down, we came back up, we came down slightly deeper to test the bottom end of the channel, and now we've pushed back up again. So in fact we've had an A, a B, and a C correction. Now for this C correction to be over, we need to break this pivot here, which is the B pivot. Now as far as ElliottWave concerned, we've hung on to our probability pullback zone, the red zone. So if we can hang on to this red zone, which is also at the top end of this support and resistance zone here, if that holds and we do move up, there's a 70% probability in 2023 we're going to go and hit this fifth wave target zone, and the top end of that target zone is 40,000 for the Dow. Now there's a lot that can happen between now and then, so those that are looking for longer term views on the Dow, my suggestion is we have this this pattern formed here. We have a good ElliottWave 4. We would love to trade that fifth wave longer term on the Dow long. However, first thing is we've got to break this trend line that I've put in here. We've got 1, 2, 3 touches. Okay, this now is what we call non-linear resistance. We have attempted to break through that this week. We're only on Thursday, but it's failed for now. So we could be into a real sort of complex correction where we keep coming back to test this support and resistance zone on the bottom of the channel. Now, if this breaks and the wave 4 is broken here and we're out of the red zone, we're into a big bearish correction, and that could continue into next year. So right now, we're poised where we don't want to go long, we don't want to go short. We need to see how the rest of this year pans out. Do we initially break out of this trend line here? If we do, can we close above this B pivot here for that ABC correction? If that's the case, going into 2023, we can push, and it will push out of the channel if we get enough momentum to go and test this fifth wave target zone. So for me, that's the ideal situation. So if this withdrawal from Russia, from sort of key strategic areas in Ukraine continues, and that we get some more, a little bit more stabilization in that world, with the political fever of these midterm elections calms down, markets, cost of living comes down a little bit, and I don't know whether oil will come down anymore at this moment in time, but if we get that perfect storm, which gives us the markets enough sentiment to think, yes, we're back on, we want to, we do feel more positive now, and if it does push through there, and then 2023 I think would be a nice bullish move, but we need these levels to be done properly. Now, I also did a recent analysis on Microsoft, and again during 2022 on the monthly time frame, that's pulled back on a wave 4 on the ElliottWave, and I'm going to put a link down in the description of this video for that analysis, because it's very key that we get that major stocks have basically dictated how these indexes, whether it's the Dow, the Nasdaq, ES, have pulled back during 2022, and it's key now that a lot of these major stocks are at those supports on that fourth wave pullback, poised for that fifth wave. So there's a lot of good signs that this could be leading into us, a bullish 2023. Again, not got a crystal ball, don't know what's going to happen in the world, but we are at a turning point right now, which could lead us into a nice bullish return in 2023 after the 22 pullback, or indeed we could go in a very complex bearish correction. So these next weeks leading into the end of this year are very, very crucial. Also, check out the links. I'll put the links in. This is a TradingView platform for ElliottWave and all the other platforms. ElliottWave really helps us identify behavior during longer term, even shorter term moves and trends and pullbacks against those trends. The suite includes the oscillator, the stochastic, false breakout, the ElliottWave count, but also these pullback zones, the automated fifth wave target zones, very, very crucial. And then when we look back, we can see every time there's a wave 4 pullback, we go and hit the fifth wave target zone on a weekly. Here, wave 4 pullback, fifth wave target zone, pull back. So there's good behavior in the Dow as far as ElliottWave's concerned. This has been a very complex correction, I admit, but right now we can understand that behavior a little bit more by labeling it and then using these extra tools to understand where we are with that. Again, last chance saloon, this red pullback zone here. If that comes back down and gets broken and we break out of this channel, break out of this support and resistance zone, we could come back and test this zone here and then go sideways for a while. So lots to happen. Keep an eye on the rest of the year. Hopefully we will get that push through and we'll go into 2023 for a bullish year.